He said he was out, tired of the grind, skipping the WSOP main event for the first time in nearly 40 years. But let's be real, Phil Hellmuth doesn't just walk away quietly. He flipped the script. One fan poll, a dramatic last-minute entrance, and just like that, all eyes were back on him. Then came the fire. Hellmuth wasn't just playing cards, he was making statements. High rollers got steamrolled, egos got bruised, and when Phil plays with something to prove, it stops being just poker.
One.
What the
Well
I
done.
call the race with frickin' King 8. Well, this kid probably won't last another hour.
It gets personal. This is the story of how he tricked the poker world just by being Phil. Phil Hellmuth Jr.'s story begins in Madison, Wisconsin, as the oldest of 5 kids in a Catholic household. His dad, Phil Sr., was a university dean, and his mom, Lynn, was a sculptor, a mix of academia and creativity that shaped young Phil's world. Even early on at Blessed Sacrament Elementary, Phil stood out for his sharp mind in math, though he often felt like the odd one out in his family. His love for poker kicked off at home, playing cards with family, but things really started to heat up at the University of Wisconsin. That's where he discovered Texas Hold'em, right there in the student union. He stuck around for 3 years before deciding college wasn't the path. But for Phil, it wasn't just about the money, it was a quiet rebellion, a break from the academic path his family expected. Vegas wasn't just a place to play cards, it was freedom. He was already making solid money playing locally, so he took the leap and went all in on poker. By his early 20s, Phil packed up and headed to Vegas for good. Like many before him, he struggled and went broke multiple times. But unlike most, he cracked the code. In 1987, he entered his first WSOP event. It didn't pay off financially, but it sparked a fire.
This is the first year of my career that all the great players called me great or the greatest.
The very next year, Johnny Chan was on fire, right in the middle of his epic back-to-back WSOP main event win. In fact, he even knocked out a young Phil Hellmuth in 1988. But 1989? That's when everything flipped. In a high-stakes final, 24-year-old Phil went head-to-head with Chan. Phil had pocket nines, Chan had ace-7. Then came the flop, King 10 King. And just like that, Phil sealed the deal. With that win, Phil became the youngest WSOP main event champion in history at the time, ending Chan's streak and launching his own legend. That victory wasn't just personal, it marked a shift in poker itself. The game was moving from smoky back rooms to televised events and public arenas, and Hellmuth was suddenly its bold new face. His win opened doors and catapulted him into the spotlight, where he quickly became known for more than just his skill. His fiery table antics, blunt remarks, and over-the-top reactions earned him the nickname the Poker Brat, a title he wore like a badge of honor. As televised poker boomed in the early 2000s, Phil became a staple of it. He was unpredictable, magnetic, and always entertaining. Long before viral clips and TikTok meltdowns,
Oh, you want to do the da-da-da-da-da?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da, that's 4 10s, da-da-da, that's 2 jacks. Hellmuth has 38 outs. That's sick.
Hellmuth's rants were poker's original highlight reel. But there was more to him than theatrics. While other pros leaned into solvers and game theory, Phil built his game around intuition, what he calls white magic. He's a master at reading players, adjusting to table dynamics, and making big folds or calls at just the right moment. Critics scoffed at his unorthodox style, but tournament results told a different story. Hellmuth followed up his 1989 main event win with his second bracelet in 1992, then exploded with 3 more in 1993, an achievement matched by only a few in poker history. By 2003, the year Chris Moneymaker sparked the poker boom, Hellmuth already had 9 bracelets, just one behind legends Johnny Chan and Doyle Brunson. In 2006, he reached double digit. A year later, he made history again, securing bracelet number 11 and earning a place in the Poker Hall of Fame. But his winning didn't stop there. In 2012, he won his first non-Hold'em bracelet,
The record-setting 12th World Series of Poker gold bracelet.
in 7-card Raz.
Phil Hellmuth won the $2,500 Raz event.
And months later, became the first player ever to win both the WSOP and WSOP Europe main events, bringing his total to 13. Over the years, he just kept stacking those bracelets. Then in 2023, boom, number 17. He took down the $10,000 Super Turbo bounty, beating out a loaded final table that even had Phil Ivey in the mix. That win brought in over $800,000 and added another layer to his already legendary status. But just when it looked like nothing could slow him down, Hellmuth made a move no one expected. In February 2025, poker fans got hit with a shockwave when Phil Hellmuth dropped a bombshell. He wouldn't be playing in this summer's WSOP Main Event. At 60 years old, he said the grind was just too brutal, calling the event more of an endurance test than a skill competition. But don't get it twisted. He's not retiring. He's still on the hunt for bracelet number 18. He's just choosing his battles now. Hellmuth's comments stirred up a flurry of reactions from fellow pros. Some backed him up. Legends like Eric Seidel and grinders like Ari Engel agreed. The main event has turned into more of a marathon than a test of skill. Seidel called the format exhausting and in serious need of an overhaul. Engel even suggested a rule: give players at least 12 hours between the end of one day and the start of the next. Even younger guys like Faraz Jaka and Alec Torelli chimed in, admitting the grind wears them down too. Torelli shared how he came into the 2023 main event feeling great, breezed through the first 6 days, and then just hit a wall on day 7. Ended up making a mistake that cost him big. He said he totally gets where Hellmuth is coming from and couldn't imagine doing this at age 60. Torelli even pitched adding a full rest day after day 5 or 6 to give players a chance to recover. But not everyone was in agreement. Some players pushed back, saying the brutal schedule is part of the magic. To them, the grind is what makes the main event legendary, and watering it down could mess with its legacy. Fast forward to late July, literally the day before the main event, and suddenly, Phil started having second thoughts. So what does he do? He jumps on X and throws up a poll, asking fans if he should play or skip it. Over 1,500 people responded, and nearly 75% said, "Get in there!" So, in true Hellmuth fashion, he made a dramatic entrance, rocking his signature swagger like only he can. You see, if there's one thing Phil loves almost as much as poker, it's a grand entrance. Over the years, he's shown up as Julius Caesar, rolled in with an entourage, even crashed a branded race car in the Rio parking lot. It's become a tradition. Fans don't just want to see him play, they want to see the show. And in 2025, he definitely delivered. About 5 hours into day 1B, Hellmuth finally arrived, fashionably late, of course. This time he went full 80s glam rock, channeling the spirit of AC/DC's Bon Scott. He marched through the hallways of the Horseshoe, flanked by models, his son, and Dan Jungleman Cates on guitar, all while blasting Highway to Hell. It was more rock concert than poker tournament, turning heads and stirring up plenty of opinions, both good and bad. Many in the poker world weren't exactly thrilled. David ODB Baker went off on X, calling the entrance cringeworthy and saying, Hellmuth somehow finds a way to make it worse every year. Plenty of fans chimed in too. Some said it was embarrassing, others called it narcissistic, and a few just thought it was flat out dumb. But not everyone was hating. A handful gave Hellmuth props for fully leaning into the chaos. Like him or not, the guy knows how to steal the spotlight, and he definitely brought more eyeballs to the WSOP. But that over-the-top entrance, that was just the warm-up. The real fireworks were still on the way. Phil Hellmuth's 2025 World Series of Poker run? Yeah, it was a bit of a roller coaster. Some small wins, a little chaos, and of course, classic poker Brat moments sprinkled throughout. With 17 WSOP bracelets under his belt and that larger-than-life presence at the table, fans expected fireworks. But a third of the way into the series, he'd only pulled off 4 small cashes and hadn't made a single final table. For a legend like Hellmuth, that kind of start felt barely like a real run. His best early result came in the $10,000 Dealer's Choice 6-handed championship, where he finished 15th and took home just over $22,000, barely more than 2 buy-ins for that event. But as usual, Hellmuth didn't keep quiet. He took to social media to reflect on the grind, posting a video where he vented to his followers. He joked about his internal back and forth after a rough 19 days, mimicking his complaints and reminding himself of what truly matters, his health, his wealth, and the fact that his son, Philip Hellmuth III, was playing the full WSOP schedule this year. Young Hellmuth even made a small splash of his own, cashing for over $7,000 in the 800 no-limit Hold'em deep stack. That gave Phil a little boost of pride amid a slow series, and he ended his rant with some much-needed tough love for himself. Shut up, play great poker, and enjoy the ride. Things finally started looking up for Phil in event number 47, the $2,500 mixed Omaha high-low / stud high-low. He was one of 575 players all gunning for the $244,674 top prize, and of course, that shiny gold bracelet. A win here would have been huge, not just for the money, but because it would have marked bracelet number 18, putting even more distance between him and legends like Phil Ivey and Johnny Chan, who are still sitting at 10 each. On day 3 of the mixed event, Hellmuth entered 13th in chips out of the 27 remaining players, but quickly found his rhythm. He steadily climbed the leaderboard and battled Jason Daly for the chip lead. It was a tight and intense race as the two exchanged pots deep into the night. After an exhausting 11-hour session, the final table was down to just one man, and it wasn't Hellmuth. Jason Daly went on a tear, eliminating the final 4 players, including Hellmuth, who finished in 3rd place and earned $112,360. Daly's dominant performance earned him his 2nd bracelet and the big payday, while Hellmuth's quest for number 18 would have to wait. Hellmuth's fire never dimmed, though, and neither did his signature outburst. In the $5,000 no-limit hold'em event later in the series, his emotions boiled over again. During the final hours of day 1, Hellmuth and another player, Nick Palma, got into a heated verbal exchange. Palma had just won a key hand and started jawing at Hellmuth, accusing him of calling players idiots and crossing the line. Hellmuth, headphones in, was having none of it and barked back in true poker brat style. Tournament officials stepped in to cool things down and gave both players official warnings. They even threatened 1-round penalties if the trash talk continued. Palma didn't back off, and later took to social media to throw more jabs, posting a picture of Hellmuth looking frustrated at the table, with the caption, "Philly is steamed." Meanwhile, Hellmuth busted shortly after that confrontation, his royal flush draw falling short against Julian Sitbun. That could very well have been his last hand of the 2025 World Series of Poker. Despite the ups and downs, Hellmuth still put together a solid series overall. He cashed in 11 events this summer, bringing his total WSOP cashes to over 200, yet another record for the Hall of Famer. And while he only made one final table, that 3rd place finish added over 6 figures to his already massive career earnings, which have now passed $30 million. Even though he didn't add to his bracelet count this year, Hellmuth remains the undisputed king of the World Series of Poker. His 17 bracelets put him miles ahead of any other player, and his longevity in the game is unmatched. He's the only player with bracelets in the 1980s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, and 2020. But it's not just about the records. It's about the fire, the passion, and yeah, the drama that follows him wherever he goes. Love him or hate him, Phil Hellmuth is still one of the greatest to ever sit at a poker table. And if this summer showed us anything, it's that he's far from finished. He's still hunting for bracelet number 18. Sure, he didn't get it this time, but don't count him out, because you know he'll be back, ready to steal the spotlight all over again.